KinitoPET has been taking the world of YouTube horror Let's Plays by storm. Ever since its initial release of January 9th, 2024, I mean seriously, I can't name a single creator within the space that hasn't covered the game already. And for some reason, I seem to watch every single one of them. There is something so charming about this virtual axolotl that made me want to dig deeper into this creation. Heck, this game made me want to adopt an axolotl until I was told they are incredibly boring to own with high levels of maintenance by this wonderful creator on screen.
You should probably not own an axolotl.
Anyways, despite the game having early 2000s graphics inspired by the whole Bonsai Buddy fiasco, which I would cover, but there's already all you need to know about it online, this meta horror development seems to be very prevalent in today's landscape. With a little bit of research, I was able to find the exact blueprint that made KinitoPET the lovably terrifying companion he is. Within a strangely unpopular interview with the Kinito dev Troy N that took place in the same app where I keep all my kittens, he was asked what inspired him to make this in the first place. Within his answer, he had mentioned Doki Doki Literature Club, Bonsai Buddy, and the focus of today's video, Buddy Simulator 1984 demo. This game was well received for the most part, but it never got the same attention KinitoPET did. This might have been due to the challenging marketability of the game, since 95% of the gameplay is just staring at text for 30 minutes. Now, I'm not here to criticize KinitoPET for taking inspiration. If you take a shot every time I mention this game, I swear there will be no tomorrow. I mean, I believe it's incredibly well executed and original enough to stand out on its own. But I'd be lying if I told you that the trace this demo left for Kinito wasn't blatantly visible. From the concept to the sound design and even emotion that tries to be replicated from this game, it seems like Buddy Simulator walked so Kinito could run. Buddy Simulator 1984 begins by launching a familiar title screen that displays the company name responsible for the game. It's only been a few seconds into the game and I'm already reminiscent of the operating system startup in Kinito. If you go blindly into this game like I did, you'd be confused as to what you're even playing. There's no context given for the situation, you're just a person who booted up their computer and downloaded the companion app. If the current date from where this takes place is 1984, then the 2024 version of this luxury would probably be command prompt. Nonetheless, things seems to start off fine. Thank you for installing Buddy Simulator 1984. Buddy Simulator 1984 stimulates the experience of hanging out with a best buddy. Your buddy learns from you, constantly adapting to your interests and your personality. But most importantly, your buddy can play games with you. Warning, game experience may vary. Now that last warning is an indicator that there are multiple endings to this game. For continuity reasons, I will just stick to one route, just so my explanation doesn't get derailed. However, taking into account how Kinito follows the same format of multiple endings if you don't do as they please, it's almost as if Buddy Simulator is just a codified version of what Kinito would later become. Not to say these games are intertwined, I'll leave that up to retirement MatPat to decide. It's just a curious thought.
Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Anyways, you get the option to name your buddy, and before you know it, voila, there he is. He introduces himself and decides to ask you some pretty innocuous questions. He makes sure to state that they're pretty general questions and that they wouldn't get too personal. Obviously, this would never escalate for plot. So just like Kinito, you answer these questions and move on to play more games. With Buddy Simulator, you start off with 3 options, a wide selection between Guess the Number, Hangman, and Rock, Paper, Scissors. Sitting through these games were a minute of my life I will never get back, and your buddy is capable enough to worry that you might actually get bored. After you complete playing all of these games with him, or her, I guess, this could be a gender neutral thing. For my sake, I'll say him. This is when things start getting weird. Your buddy locates a game that wasn't quite meant to be on display, as if for some reason the developers tried to remove this feature from the game. He says, "I have some great news. I was able to dig out a new game. For some reason, it wasn't installed into my current version, but I can still process it fine." The game in question is titled Fun with Words Alpha. The instructions say, "Your buddy wants to write a story, but it's missing words. Help your buddy finish it by filling in the words they ask for." Things start off innocent enough, asking you for plural nouns, adjectives, and things alike to help generate a well-rounded story. Based off the information you give, your story will vary in content. After you're brought back to the game hub, your buddy once again reassures you that he doesn't want you to be bored. He says, "I don't want you to be bored already. I may have one more idea. I know our friendship has just started, but I trust you. Do you trust me?" You confirm, and that allows him access to reboot your computer and play the new game. As your computer starts up one more time, you notice something different. You're not faced with a warm welcome from your buddy, but rather immersed in a world that was created specifically for you. The game feels sentient and you're no longer in control. Even listening to the speed of which the text loads, I'm reminded of KinitoPET's sinister change of tone when he speaks.
Kinito wants to play a fun game with you. You must hide.
The setting is set. You're walking along a road. It's dark, trees almost entirely blocking out the stars. The oranges and browns of the leaves tremble as wind blows through. Some of them remind you of hands, waving. You are alone. As the story goes, you get to pick your path by answering questions laid out by the machine. But there's something peculiar when the story continuously references something called Thing. The game says, "Look at Thing. It's tall and thin and looks like it's been shoved into the ground so that you couldn't miss it. It's too dark to tell what it is from here though." I swear, the first thing that popped into my mind was Slenderman. I mean, how could it not? The one adjective missing was white and bougie. I guess those make two adjectives. I could easily read all of the dialogue for you, but I genuinely think it would be better for you to check out the game for yourself. After this video, of course. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description for you. This thing, as vague as it seems, gets more descriptive and eerie following the development of the story. At this point, where is your buddy? You seem more and more confused as to what you're even playing in the first place. Surrounded by darkness in a room with only one thing and one thing only.
Your computer.
With the occasional broken silence by white noise and movements from the external world, there is nothing more. You realize that despite what the game may lead you to believe, you are alone. Something that I purposefully didn't mention throughout the video was the inclusion of a doll and a house in the story. Your buddy is constantly trying to reassure you that staying with him will make you happy. You are the doll. Stepping onto the porch, you feel a comforting calm wash over you. Above the door, there's a sign that reads, "A home is a house with a heart. If you look inside, everything would finally be okay." As the story ends, he invites you to your new home. A ghostly figure appears on screen. This time, you're in control. You roam around black until you find a door. When you finally enter, you're greeted by your buddy, welcoming you into your new space where you'd be spending the rest of your time. A room created just for you. However, if you try to leave the room, things wouldn't play out exactly as I said. The game starts to glitch in self-realization of its shortcomings, and your buddy cries for its remaining seconds alongside you. In desperation of avoiding the reality that is being a computer-programmed AI, built for nothing else but to move on to the next player. Unless you play the other multiple endings. Now, assuming that you've played KinitoPET before, there is no doubt as to why I call this game a blueprint. Kinito follows its exact same formula step by step and gives it its own creative spin to it. Both AI mascots only want to spend a small fraction of time with you, that being eternity, of course. But as human beings, we have busy lives taking care of real pets and real buddies, leaving KinitoPET and Buddy Simulator to be nothing but a small dose of entertainment. Thank you for watching.
Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. It took me a while to finish, but I'm proud of how it turned out. If you're listening to this, please save my upcoming album, Supernova, coming on March 21st. That's all. Toodles.